Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us for the live stream this evening. We are really, really thrilled to announce some additional artists, plural, that will be joining us at Miami in October.
We're very excited.
Yes. I will say that one of these artists' characters really helped me out at our LGS gameplay today. And one of these artists' characters really did me in. And so we're so excited to have both of them join the stream today and get to know them a little bit better.
Yeah.
You want to bring them in, or?
Yeah, no, let's do it. So, and they'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but so our next two artists appearing at Miami TCG are from Glasgow, Matthew Robert Davies, and then from Colombia, Cristian Romero.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Two of our very favorite artists for so many good cards.
Yes.
And we'll talk about all of that. But
cards.
first, hey, it's so nice to meet you, both of you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Yeah.
Hey, to start off, it's Lorcana launch weekend. So fans are, the public really, other than Gen Con, but the broad public is getting to experience these cards for the first time. We went to a release event today and it was amazing. We saw so many people opening their first packs and experiencing the art of the game for the very first time. And for Disney fans, I think that's what they were most excited about, is seeing all these cool new characters. Matthew, you got to go to a signing yesterday and meet some excited Lorcana fans and sign some cards. What was that like?
It was great. It was a fantastic day. I had got to go to Birmingham to the Board Game Expo with Ravensburger and Disney. So I got to see the game and play it myself, because I hadn't seen any cards in person. And the deck they had there, they had Ariel, and that was pretty much the only card I had of mine. But it was so cool to see, and obviously they were printed, but you obviously couldn't keep them or anything like that. So we didn't have any packs or anything around. But so yesterday was the first time I actually got to see the packs and see people open them and see all of the different products, and then just have people's reactions and it was wild. Sorry if I'm a bit tired. It's like midnight here, but we traveled.
We should have said that up front.
we traveled up back up from London, and it was wild. There are people that had done midnight store openings and things like that, and so they'd gotten all their boosters, and then they traveled hours by train to come to the Disney store, and it was just so great to meet people. And there was a wide range of people as well. It was people who'd been playing TCGs all their life, and there was kids who had never really gotten into any TCGs because they're kind of the skill level's kind of just above them. But Lorcana's it has a slightly easier barrier to entry, as in there isn't really one, and they already are familiar with the characters, so it's kind of like that familiar nostalgic thing as well with the parents. So I got to meet so many different kinds of people, every age. There was people in their 70s and 80s that were there, like grandparents with little kids young as 3 or 4 who just wanted to look at the cards. It was fantastic.
That's so amazing. I have to say, your Ariel on human legs, although she is controversial in some circles,
in terms of how good she is,
from a flavor perspective, is just so absolutely brilliant.
My favorite card in the set.
Oh wow! Well, I had a chance to play just the mechanics in Birmingham, but I actually didn't get that card. So I'm bad. I don't really know what a lot of the cards do yet. They had people playing, and I kind of figured, we'll have a break and I can play. But I was there for I think about 7 hours signing, and I think I got 20 minutes to get away. But I was signing stuff on my partner's people were giving me cards at the entrance, and they were locking up, and I was still signing. So I didn't really get a chance to play. And then there was actually one person, because they were like, what's your favorite? What cards are you using? I'm like, I have no cards yet. I was like, I've got nothing. I was like, I think there's, they'll get to me eventually. But so someone bought a couple and then asked me to open them for them. So we went through them, and it was really cool. And I think they pulled I think my first pack, they got an enchanted bell, I think.
Wow.
So I was like, cool. And I was like, oh, I know about the enchanted cards because Elsa, like, people were asking about and I was like, because the sign that they had printed was printed before they announced. It was before Gen Con, essentially. So people were like asking about Elsa, and like, is she? You know, I was like, well, I don't. She'll be in the booster packs basically, and so I got to sign two people, got them out of about the thousands of people that were there. So there are two signed enchanted Elsas out there, and then there was one. Do you know you meet someone, and they are so enthusiastic, and he was like the nicest guy ever, and he didn't really pull that many cards of mine, but he was just like, oh, I'm really trying, and like it was his favorite character, and I was like, no, if you do, just come back and I'll sign it, whatever. And then he DM'd me, and I don't know how many packs he's bought, but he's got one. So I'm going to be in MCM in London as well, for UK or Europe people. So I'll be signing it for him there. But it was so great to see the people who did get them, because they were like massive TCG players. You could tell because they had like everything. They had all their folios, and I could see all their other cards from like different TCGs. So it was really great that the first two that I got to sign went to people who like really like appreciate them. Yeah.
Well, and speaking of which, I think
that's amazing,
Cristian. I think I saw on your Instagram that you yourself are a TCG player as well. Is that correct? And if so, what games do you like to play? And yeah, tell us a little bit about your background with TCGs.
Yeah, that's bad addiction of mine, I think. Yeah, TCGs. Yeah, I love them. I'm gonna say I'm a huge fan of MTG. Just I've been playing that since uni. I mean, I didn't know anything about it before that. I swear I didn't even hear about it until I go into uni, and then some people were like, "Hey, do you want to play some games?" I was like, "We're gonna teach you." I loved it. I was so in love with MTG at the time. And right now, yeah, for what I've seen, Lorcana is like a bit like it. So I really want to learn how to play. I still don't know how to play the game itself. So I really want to get to like actually like touch the cards and play them. Probably get like some weird decks. That was my thing in MTG. I used to get like all these weird sort of combination of decks, and people were like, "Why were you playing this card?" I'm like, I just like cards that people think are bad, but I make them work. So yeah.
So what was it like for you to be a huge fan of? It's actually interesting. Not a ton of the artists we've interviewed play TCGs like before they got involved in Lorcana. So as a TCG fan, what was it like for you to get to be a part of a creation of a new TCG, and one that's probably the most hyped in years?
Well, at the beginning, I mean, I didn't really like see it as maybe my brain didn't recognize it as being such a big thing. I was like, maybe this is like a smaller project I want to work on, but like I didn't really like, think about it that way or thought about it that way. At the time, I was like, this is a small game, a small thing, but as I told you, like at the beginning as well, I was like, is this a scam? Are they trying to scam me? Is this Disney? Like, is this real? But as I went farther into the game and I saw like other artists' work, I was like, oh, wow, this is the real thing. Like, people are making like this awesome stuff, and I have to keep up, you know?
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Well, what for both of you are y'all most excited about for Miami? And is this the first time in the States for either one of you? What are you guys looking forward to?
I can go first. I've been to the States quite a few times. This is the first kind of physical game that I've worked on, like board game or TCG. Before that, it's just been concept art and animation for TV, or games like console or mobile games, nothing physical. So I'd go to LA quite a bit for like animation conventions. So I've been to the States, but I haven't been to Florida. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm sure it's going to be really good. No, like it was like a DM thing, and it just kind of we talked about potentially going to Miami, and then it was just like it was really generous, and I was just like, oh, fun, like. I think I was the same as Cristian. When I got approached to do it, people asked, like, how did you get the job? Like they DM me, and that was basically
yeah, yeah.
And I was just like, that's just it. And it's like, and then I knew the company because we're moving, but this room is like the game room, so there has like just boxes everywhere. So I knew the name,
so cool.
Ravensburger, and I had like, it was kind of like a joke gift during COVID, but it wasn't. But I think my sister got me like this giant Disney jigsaw, like, she was like, oh, there's something to do, and I was like, but I ended up doing it because it was like this thousands and thousands of pieces. I think it's like 10,000 pieces. But so I knew the company, so I just figured that when they contacted me and it had a different name, it wasn't anything, and they were like, oh, do you want to draw some Disney characters? I just thought I was making jigsaws. I didn't, and I was like, oh, and they're like, oh, here's some templates for this. This is this. I was like, oh, this is like stickers or, and I was like, oh, it's like a full TCG, and I was like, okay. And the funniest thing is, it's like a few months earlier, because I play Magic as well, and
Awesome.
I did like a D&D like one shot with friends, where I kind of took all like the princesses and we did them as like basically like D&D characters, and I kind of made the sheets and give them to people, and it was like for people who a few friends who wanted to play D&D, but their only kind of, I guess the only fantasy thing they knew is the Lord of the Rings or like, Disney. So I was kind of like, okay, we'll just do this mashup thing. And it was really fun. I did a few sketches, and I did like Ariel with like the trident and like armor and stuff. And I don't think I ever posted it. I think I just posted like on stories or something. I was like, oh, this would be really cool to do one day. And I think a few months later, I was like, hey, do you want to do this thing? I was like, well, this is really weird. But and some of that stuff has like happened, like not that specifically, but certain things like in that realm, like the characters that I kind of imagined for that D&D thing are like I've designed now for like real. Like that's, so yeah, it's been wild, but it's been great. And then the idea of going now and seeing people, like I can't like emphasize enough that it was like I think August, September of 2020 I've been on this since. So it was, in the middle of the pandemic, so I was just on my iPad just drawing, and I never thought about what would happen when it came out, or then people would be playing it and how big it would be. Like it just never occurred to me like there would be like signings or convention. I don't know why. I'd never thought about it. I was just focusing on doing the work and then getting paid. So it's so great to see it out in the wild. And like Cristian said, it was like a few months into it. I think it's almost like a year really before I got to see anyone else's stuff. And then I'm like, oh no, that's really good. Mine's not that great. I was like, there's this like I was like, oh, I need to see more of that artist work. And I was like, okay. I will say like I think probably my favorite card in set one is like the Beast, and it's like done by an artist called Cookie. I don't know who they are.
Beast, yeah. Hard-headed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. And they were like, and I was like, oh, we can like do that. We can like change. We can like. We could. It doesn't have to, because I was very much like, oh, it's on model and it's thing, and like, it was just so expressive and so dynamic. And they're like, oh yeah, so you're gonna do like a Gaston thing, and the Beast is in the, like, it was so specific. It's like, oh, Gaston's holding up the mirror to the camera, and there's magic coming out of it, but it looks like ribbons, and there's like the Beast's face, and I was like, okay. And I just saw that, and I was like, okay, I need to make this look good. And I was just like, I think it was very much like seeing other people's work and being like, oh, okay, people are bringing it, and then and it's still going. Like, oh, I don't know how much. I never know what's been announced. But all I can say is I saw someone else's work in like a brief that they sent me, and I was like, oh no. I was like, my work is awful. And I was like, okay, I have to match this. And I was like, okay. So it's very humbling when you to see the work that's even been done now. And I was like, oh, okay, it's So I'm always nervous when it gets released and people are, oh, I really like it. I'm like, great. There's enough people that say they like those cards that I can believe them, but
yes.
Well, they're great. Cristian's already said he's a big fan, so like you have other artist praise coming in.
Yes,
same thing happened to me with thingy. Yeah, with Hades. I was like, oh no, that Hades is so good. What am I gonna do now?
Oh, Hades! People have asked me. That's my favorite card because sometimes you get, not to go into it too much, but you get like a brief. Like I said with the Gaston one, it was like Gaston holding up the mirror, and it was all like, very specific. And I was like, oh, I have to fit that into like a tiny square, like a 2-inch by. And I was like, but then they were like Hades, and I was like, great. And I just got to do whatever I want. And I think I did a bunch of thumbnails, but he was like in this really cool costume, which I really liked. But he was like topless, and they were like, cover up the nipples. And I was like, okay. And I was
That
like,
sounds great.
this is not there, but it was,
I'll do it for free.
I love that
that
you're
was,
like, see, how far can I push the boundary? Just interesting.
that was very much my thing. Is saying like, oh, how far can we go? I'm like, okay, like pull it back a bit, like just give it room to grow, because if you come out of the gate swinging, there's nowhere really for it to go. But plus it looks great, and I think, you know, they made the right decision, because it would just be a lot of better chest otherwise. But there's a few things like I don't know if you did this as well, Christian. It's like I've done designs not just for the cards, but all the banners, the ink banners that are on I did those. And that was a fun thing.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. That's great.
And so we spent some time just doing that, and they sent me the shape language. And I think it's because I did the Evil Queen and Hades, and they're like, oh, cool, you kind of like, we like this. Can you try and do these borders? And I was like, so I had a go at that, and they really enjoyed them. And then there was some later on, there's some characters, and they were like, can you like design some like ideas for outfits, how this would potentially look? So I got to do just designing characters' outfits and looks and stuff, but not necessarily for a card.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to do. Just to like, you're not worried about an illustration, because no one's really going to see it, and I don't think I can post it, which is a shame. But it's a case of like all these just like, I won't say which one, because I don't think I can, but there's just a Disney princess, like I said before, and it was like, oh, like battle mode Disney princess, and it was just like all these different things. I was like, that was just really fun to do, and I hope, you know, a version of it comes out. But it's been really great to do.
That's so cool. Yeah, I had to do some concepts as well, but I can't really like talk about them or
No,
one day.
Yeah, I was about to say the NDAs. Let's just let the NDAs be the NDAs.
Yeah, but it's fun to know. Like it's for us fans, especially having seen all the first set now. When artists come on and they're like, you know, we did something cool, you haven't seen it yet. We're like, oh.
Everyone says, oh, what's your favorite card you've ever done? I'm like, it's actually the one I'm doing like right now.
What I can't talk about.
So what I can't talk about is like the one I asked for at set 1, and they're like, oh no, we're not doing that yet. And I was like, every set of like, can I have that one yet? And they were like, yeah, sure. And I finally got it, so that's great.
Matthew after set 3. Favorite card. Got it. All right. We'll schedule you on for a couple months, man.
Yeah.
So I want to do something fun real quick. And we have a Lorcana fan and another Lorcana super fan who's also going to Miami, who we're going to have join the stream. And she wanted to come on. She's a big fan of both of yours and wanted to ask you a few questions. So we're going to welcome Adara from the Lorcana HQ Discord server. Adara, hey, welcome.
Hey, Adara.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Adara.
Happy to be here. And yeah, totally pumped for Miami. I cannot wait to meet both of you. And just quickly had to say, I am one of the lucky people who pulled an Elsa Enchanted at Gen
awesome.
Con, actually. So gorgeous card. And Freeze is probably my favorite cold foil yet. I love how they foiled the Aurora in the background behind Elsa. It's magnificent. They did such a nice job with it, and it's a beautiful card as well, Christian. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's a fun team up there. Yeah, it's neat.
The actual foil, like I once I saw it in, because I've seen like, you know, videos and stuff. When you see it, like, yeah, like they came out so well, and I was like, oh, it looks like I designed like an Aurora. I was like, they kind of did, but no, I was like, oh, like cool. But yeah, like that has a lot to do with, I think, the in-house team, because again, those artist names, people think like, for the most part, what I send or what we all send is what ends up on the card. And the stuff that I can't talk about might be in the future. But I know that the artists, the in-house team that they have, like, you know, I have my characters separate from the backgrounds and things, and sometimes do different elements and things like that. So they can, you know, for Twitter and like social media or X, when they do like animated things and things like that. But they've really made sure that the colors part, everything just works really well. So when I actually saw them, I was like, oh, these like these are exactly how they looked on like my screen. And
Mhm.
I went quite punchy with the contrast because I thought they would get washed out. Like I was like, oh, they're gonna get like flattened, but no, like I was like, oh wow, okay, maybe I went a bit too far then. But they looked really good. But yes, I'm really pleased with how they came out, and everyone's cards are so good, look so good.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's something I love. Christian, I was talking to you about your trident before we got on, and that's your color contrast on that card is so absolutely stunning. He like almost glows because he's just, the colors are just so vibrant. It's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, similar thing happened to me with was talking to Matthew, that what Matthew was talking about. Yeah, just like the colors. I wasn't like completely sure how they would come out, even if they look like weird on the screen or something. I was like, yeah, I'm like unsure what colors to use or what colors not to use, and I don't know if they like the templates they gave us were like how they were gonna look. So I had to like guess a little bit. I was like, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
And I did the thing as well. They gave us a template, and you have all like the borders and stuff. Not to get too technical, or like so you do paint more than what's on the card. But like I was like, oh, what if they want to crop them? Like, so I kind of gave more. So like, there's like an Easter egg. If anyone has an aerial card, you look at the top right corner. It's a kind of a thing. It's like But you see this like little brick, and basically I painted a giant archway, and there's way more of the town. So that piece of artwork is a lot bigger, and she's like, so they had to like blow it up, and I was like, oh, okay, so I did way too much. But I went up, and I was just like, oh, I'll just do low. I'll just do so much more, and you can just choose the best, like what you think, because I just carried on going. I just carried on painting more and more and more and more. Because I'm used to working like in TV, so we have like like 16 by 9. So to do stuff in like this kind of square format is actually quite interesting. And then there's like different aspects of I try and incorporate like the color of the ink into it as well, and wherever I can, because I remember with the non-enchanted Elsa, at first I was chatting with the team. I was like, oh, it just looks so blue. Like it looks like at a glance you'd think it was a blue card, so we had to like incorporate a bit more like amethyst and purples into it. So yeah, we had like conversations about that. And then Hades, I was like, okay, how do I make a blue character on a blue background for a blue card look interesting? So that was it was really fun. But the style guide that they gave us was like, a lot of it was inspired by the work that Nick did, because it was fantastic. And then because I remember like sometimes like I think I had a line sketch for the aerial background, but in the end I think we ended up for other cards being like, actually I think lineless is better because it just kind of like pushes the background back. So the style like has evolved, at least my interpretation of it. And then I think it's gotten, I've seen some cards that are coming and they're just like, wow, like, yeah, I think when they started to get announced, I think it really attracted other people to kind of like hop on board. And so I know there's a few cards that are like, I've seen that I was like, oh well, like these are gonna be huge. Yeah,
I agree.
But yeah, so speaking of like contrast and everything, this is not necessarily related to your work on Lorcana and stuff, but I love hearing from artists on what is your favorite medium to work in. So we've heard people who like doing the full digital side of things, and there's some people who just like to go sit down with the paper and a pencil, and that's their preferred medium. So I just wanted to hear from both of you, like, what is your preferred medium to work in just in general in your art?
Christian, you can go first.
I'd say, I'd say just I would say digital, just because I'm more used to it. Ever since I remember, I just like try to like go with like a laptop or a computer, and just with the little, what's it called, the Wacom, but not the one with the screen, the flat one.
Tablet.
The Intuos.
Yeah, just
the
Intuos. Yeah, that's one.
Oh.
That's the one. Yeah, just so good. I for some reason I never got used to like the actual screen thing, and I just got used to the little Intuos. I used to have the Genius one, which is like a cheaper version, And then I upgraded it to the Wacom one, and ever since I just stuck to the same thing.
That's very cool.
I don't know, like again, I don't know how I'm the person who has like a laser pointer at me because I don't know what I can say. Like I don't know what to announce. I don't know what and if I get in trouble, I'm like, it's all in good fun. But or allegedly, but yeah, my favorite is just drawing up with a pencil. I mean, if you know, I think color people like if I had my way, I would never color anything in my life. Like I was never really an illustrator. I'd say I love drawing, and I love seeing things come to life in color. But you have to kind of do so much to get to the stage where it's fun for me in color. You have to like figure everything out. But with sketching, it's just having a pencil and paper and being able to just to like do ideas and stuff. So I used the Cintiq at the beginning for my stuff on Lorcana specifically, and then I moved house and things like that, and I was doing more on the iPad because it's the closest thing I found to working on paper, just in terms of like being able to sit on the couch and not being stuck at a desk and hunched over, and then going for walks and just it's so freeing. And then the fact that I can then just throw color on it and try things out and then undo, which is the big thing. But yes, I haven't unfortunately been able to do any pencil work on Lorcana, which is like, but or if I did, I'd have to probably like tear it up and throw it away, which I don't want to do. So, but like I think pencil. I think this is not what this conversation is about, but I don't really get onto like social media people like art stuff because it's just always a nightmare. But when people talk about elitism and stuff like that, because people ask me all the time, how can I get started? I'm like, just go and get a pencil and paper. Like that's it. There's like so many good YouTube tutorials that are free. It's just like you don't need like everything that I've done is come from a pencil and paper. I say people, oh, they're like, how can you do this? It's great. I'm like, I think I was, I born in 1990 in May, so The Little Mermaid probably was just out on VHS here. And I think my first memory is like of the opening credits of that movie, like my first human memory. It's like animation. And then I think I've had like reams of sketches of just copying the VHS cover. And then it's just like every kid draws and then some stop and some don't. And I've been able to keep drawing the things that I was drawing when I was like 2 or 3 years old. So it's like, it's great. So it's one of those things that I encourage everyone when we talk about Cintiqs and iPad Pros. I know that's really inaccessible to a lot of people, but you can do a lot with just a pencil and paper or even a pen. So yeah.
Hey Matthew, did you do your illustrations on the iPad at the end, or did you go somewhere else?
So when I moved, so I find sketching on the iPad really great. It was a really weird process, and I've never worked with print media, so the word like just the phrase color profiles, like if you don't know what that means, then you don't need to know.
Yeah.
And because how things you see things that you see on the screen, the colors you see on the screen are not the colors that get printed, and you have to do certain like technical things. So which is fine, but then when you're changing it from one machine to another or one device to another, it's a nightmare. So I would like do my sketches in Procreate on the iPad and send it to Photoshop to paint on the big screen, and then back and forward, because some programs are better for editing. Some you can like liquefy a bit, like they've asked like, oh, can her eye be like 10% bigger? I'm like, okay, I can do it in this program easier.
yeah, really.
And then I screw up the color profile. I'm like, oh no, it's all flat. I need to read. And I've repainted some of these completely from scratch like 3 times. Like that Hades one, I think I put it onto the computer and it was like bright. It was like neon blue, and I was like, oh god. So so now I just do the iPad. I just do it on the iPad, and then they adapted it right to the iPad. Yeah. So they got me the new template, and there's like it just works. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it on here, and it's perfect. So yeah, and that's you can kind of get secondhand iPads iPad Pros relatively cheap. So, and then Procreate's like $10 or $15 or something in America, if that's where you're based. So it's the lowest barrier of entry, basically, if you want to do digital artwork.
That's true.
Yeah. So because people said to me, like, oh, It's iPad's fine, but it's not really great for like real work. And like when I was working on Paddington, I did so much work on the iPad. Like I've done work for film, TV, games, short films, and now trading card games all on an iPad. I have friends who've
That's so cool.
have sculpted CG models on the iPad and had them printed out, and they're on their desk. It's like, yeah, what it can do is, I sound like an old person, but every time something happens, I'm like, I can't believe we can do it on this. It's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah.
And Apple, you can send your sponsorship dollars to.
Oh yes, please.
So,
Overlord can own me. Yeah.
So we actually had a question come in from the chat. So we have 2 enchanted artists on the call today, which is a huge honor.
That's true. And can I say,
yeah,
Matthew got to reinterpret one of his cards, and Cristian got to reinterpret a different card.
Yeah.
So you have 2 artists for Genie, and then Matthew, you did both of the Elsas.
Yeah. So out of all of the cards that are in the first set, so no spoilers, Matthew. Is there any card that you would like to turn into an enchanted rare, and how would you do it?
Oh,
that's crazy.
Oh. I mean, the ideas that I have for this game aren't in the game yet. Like,
that's true. We have to be careful here because I know there's stuff you all know that we don't know. So
no, this is stuff that I've just like emailed, like, hey, do you want to do this? And like, I don't get a response. I'm like, oh, guys, or maybe in the future. I'm like, cool. I'm like, this would be really cool. I'm such a big Disney nerd, but I'm trying to think. I haven't done any items. There are some fantastic item cards.
yeah.
And yeah, like, I don't know. I would love. I know it sounds weird, but I'd love to do like items or like images of the castles, also, or from the different movies and things like that. Like, yeah, I've done a lot of. I think I did a couple of people, and they just put me on the characters. It's like, oh, cool. It's like that, which is fantastic. But yeah, like, I really dig. Like the I can't remember the artist's name. It's so late, but was it the Prince Philip Shield one?
Is that an Aerie?
That is Aries. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that work is so good, and yeah, like when you taking a character like Hades and making an image or Elsa, the character kind of sells it themselves. But when you get like these item cards that people are doing and they're like really cool, that's so much harder to do. And that these artists are nailing it.
True.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to say we are gonna have to tell Aerie that you complimented his shield because I think he will die.
He's gonna die.
So good. Yeah, just like the subtle changes to it, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like my favorite things. Sorry to this is kind of relate to the question, but to make things more enchanting and rare, some artists are doing it, and it's like they'll get something and they already have like an intense knowledge of like the movie or Disney, and they're adding like Easter eggs and design elements and choices to things and embellishing things that you can't really do if it's a 2D film, because of like, you can't animate something that's really embellished because it's in 2D, and they're just doing things that fit so perfectly into that movie or that world. So that's how you kind of make things more, I guess, enchanted. Like I had no idea else. Like I think in the title it said enchanted Elsa, but I had no idea what an enchanted card. Like no mechanics, nothing. I didn't ask any questions, and I thought they didn't like it. So when they announced all these cards and I had the app, I was like, oh, they didn't choose that one. I was like, oh, okay, that's
yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm sure I did another Elsa, because I was this is another tangent. I went on holiday with my family. I was on a cruise actually, because someone got sick, so I just got, oh, let's go on. I was like, oh, I'll take a break. And then I was a bit bored. It turns out it was like a really old people cruise, so I was like the youngest person on there, and I was like, I need Wi-Fi, so I spent like £250 on Wi-Fi in the middle of like the Atlantic Ocean, and that's when they gave me those banners, which is cool. And then I think there was an artist who like started Elsa, or they'd done sketches or something, but then I think they got sick or something, they couldn't finish it, or they couldn't, and they were like, we're really behind, we have an Elsa, we have 2 Elsa cards. I was like, cool, I can do them. So I was just like on a cruise, just like drawing. I can't overstate how like I didn't think that this was going to be what it is. I just thought I was just doing a little picture of Elsa and it was going to be like on a t-shirt or like on a mug. Like I just I didn't know it was like gonna be what this. And then the fact they look so good. Like I don't even think it's my art. It's what they've done to it. They've done like some extra stuff that I think I'm like, oh, they've twiddled with it and added some extra effects and stuff because it didn't look that good when I painted it. So yeah. But I would make everything enchanted by Jenny. I would make everything enchanted by just putting that foil texture on it because it's so good, so cool. Like that shiny thing they do is really cool.
Yeah, I want to see one.
That's awesome.
What about you, Cristian? Do you have a specific card that you would love to have enchanted?
Oh, so many. I mean, like most of the characters there are just like great, and I can just imagine what they would look like as enchanted. Like that Peter Pan, maybe that was like so good. I think Connie made it.
Oh my gosh, I love that Peter Pan so much.
I would love to see that. Yeah. Or so many. I mean, I would love to see just my favorite characters enchanted, like I don't know, like Stitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great. Oh no, please, Ravensburger, if you're here.
Yeah,
Ravensburger's always here.
That is true. You can try always watching everywhere.
I want to ask questions as well, like to see what anyone else knows because I know nothing. Like I don't think we're not like in a WhatsApp group. We don't all like share our art. Like I had friends, like about a dozen friends that have worked on this game, and no one. We all, we have an NDA, so it's like I was like, oh, I got to see people's names. I'm like, I didn't know you were doing this. It's been really cool. But I have questions like, where's this? People are like, oh, where's this character? I'm like, I know, right? Like, where's all the like people ask me what cards do you want to do? I'm like, I want to do like really obscure ones. Like I want to do like Gurgi from the Black Cauldron, and and like just tertiary like Max from the Little Mermaid, like the dogs. Do all the dogs of Disney, the ones that like no one remember. I was like those things. I'm like, why can't we have like even like the Great Mouse Detective, have Basil and like things like that. Which this is not a spoiler. I don't know. Like I have no idea what's coming. It'll be great to see. And then obviously there's been movies that have come out since Lorcana was created.
Yeah.
Which is there's a movie coming out this year. So I don't know I have no idea if someone's working on that. That'd be really cool to see. So yeah. There's things that I would love to do. Like I'm forever sending emails, being like, "Is this character available? Is this character in the game?" But yes,
yeah. I've had those same emails as well. I was just wondering because I also like really obscure characters people don't like really know. So I was like, please give me one of those, and they're like, yeah, we got plans for those, but you keep quiet. I was like, okay, don't worry.
I'm pretty sure if I messaged Ravensburger and Disney and said, "Can I do a Princess Alonwe card?" They'd be like, "Who's that?" Like they would have no idea.
That'd be great.
I'd be like, "Yes, please."
Today, I was at we were at a tournament, like an intro tournament today, and I asked multiple brand new players like what their favorite card is or what they were excited about seeing, what they wanted to pull, and 3 different people said Sergeant Tibbs from Aristocats was or I'm sorry, from 101 Dalmatians was the card they were most excited for. I was like, Sergeant Tibbs? Like he's on the 10 minutes of an old Disney movie, and people were excited for that obscure character.
Him and the captain.
Yeah.
I think it's like Pokemon, right? There was like a thing that came out and said that, statistics show how many people are on the world to how many Pokemon there are. Like at least one person has that Pokemon as their favorite Pokemon, even if you hate it. Like someone loves it, and I think it's the same with Disney characters. Like every Disney character out there has that person who is obsessed with that Disney character. So I'm pretty sure we'll get most of the roster eventually on a card, which would be really cool to see.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, so we man, to be honest, we could talk with you all night long. Matthew, we know it's past midnight there. I think
go ahead.
All right. No, I think so to go full circle, we are we're all of us on the stream and probably some watching going to Miami. And I know we kind of started with this asking you, what you're excited about, but we'll close it with like what are you most excited about coming to the States, coming to the convention? Like what stands out to you? What can we expect from you in Miami? Yeah.
Oh, you can expect me to play like all day long, probably.
Yes.
I'll be playing that game so much. I just want to like learn how to play it and just play it, and of course meet the artist as well. But yeah, I've just been obsessed with like I want to learn and play this game. So good.
Same. Like
There's plenty of us there to teach you.
being around
Thank you.
being around people like opening their packs and playing the game. It's like it's so weird because I'm like, I want to play, and I was at the signing, which is great because like people are being so nice, but I'm looking over, I'm like oh, I don't have any cards yet. I hadn't had to play. Like, I had like one session where I figured out the rules, and I'm like, I want to play. And then by the end of the day, they were like, "Oh, we're closing the Disney store." I was like, "Oh, I didn't get a chance to buy any." And I was like, "Okay."
No.
And I was like, "They'll come at some point." But yeah, I think that's what it is. Seeing everyone play and, like you said, share their favorite cards. Like, and one of my favorite things, not just with Miami, because obviously there are so many Lorcana card artists coming. It'll be great to meet them because I found like half a dozen new artists that I didn't know their work before, and I'm like obsessed with their stuff. And people have reached out to me and said, "Oh, I really like." It's just so nice when the people are really like just really polite and really like lovely, and so I think that's what I'm most excited for, is just meeting people and then just everyone just having a good time. And you know, it's Disney. You can't really like be mad at Disney. And then the fact that this is a lot of people's first foray into having fun with the TCG.
Yes.
And you know, you're gonna have like yesterday it was seeing the kids. I think is the biggest thing, having kids come and be like, it kind of reminds me of when I was like, you know, 6 or 7, like buying Pokemon cards and stuff like that with my friends. And I was like, oh, it's really cool. Like I was like, oh, this is like cool. And like I'm like the old person now, but I helped make it and I know the characters, so like I can like relate to the youth. So that's that's fun.
You're hip.
Yes. My partner's a supply teacher in school here, and he's excited for school to kick up after the summer because the kids are going to have all these cards and stuff, and he's going to be the cool teacher.
He's gonna be like, I know him.
Yeah.
So
and you want me to take that also home and get it signed for you?
I mean,
do it.
The first one, when someone slid it across, I was like, how much do you want? It's like, I will buy this. And I was like, and he's like, I won't sell it. And I'm like, dude, you've got a family, make your money, it's fine. I'll sign whatever people want me to sign. But yeah, it'd be really great to get one at some point, just to like, I don't know, frame or give it to my mum and be like, there you go, I did something.
Yes.
Well, we have one. If we're opening one more box, if we pull one, we'll
Oh my gosh. I think contractually I'm supposed to get at least one of each card that I do, but I don't know if that counts with enchanted cards. But
oh, that's true.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
because they can't give me one. I was like, I sent an email. I was like, they're like, we'll get back to you. And I was like, okay, I think they're gonna try, so which is lovely. So,
That's so funny. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. Because you all need your own cards. Yeah,
nice,
and
nice.
I can't wait for you all to sign mine as well.
Yeah, and I think as well. I think there was like, I just seen some stuff online. Like there's like people having trouble getting cards in the States as well. So I think hopefully by Miami, it'll be easy. Fingers crossed, so that people who had to wait longer can finally do it. So I think there'd be like almost like a kind of reinvigoration of people, like that kind of new like first day vibe that I felt yesterday. Because I'm going to Dublin in a couple of weeks because it's the release of it being online, so people who haven't been able to buy stuff can go there as well. And I'm doing signings, and it's just so cool that people everywhere will be able to get it then. And then I think I don't know, is it in different languages? You guys, I'm asking you, do you guys are like
French and German?
Okay, French and German.
Oh.
Because someone came and asked me if they they were from Japan. They didn't come from Japan for the signing, but they're like, oh, are they going to be in Japanese? Like, I don't know. That'd be really cool. Like, I was like, yeah, like one day. So not only do I need an enchanted Elsa, I need one of every language Ravensburger. I need multiple.
Please.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Come on.
You heard it here, Ravensburger.
No,
Anyway.
they're really great. I'm sure they're gonna like. I got T-shirts, so that's
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you basically.
Oh, I
no
want that.
one has these.
I don't know. Every interaction with that team, they are wonderful. Like, fantastic team behind the game. We love them so much, and so all good fun.
Well, we look forward to seeing both of you in Miami in October.
Yes.
And you as well, Adara. We can't wait to see you again. But we look forward to seeing you, Cristian and Matthew, in Miami in October. If y'all haven't gotten your tickets, it is October 21st and 22nd. In Miami, please check out Miami TCG Con. Hey, Eric Gonzalez.
Eric's here.
Miami TCG
Hey, Eric.
joining us.
Eric DM me. Eric made this happen. Like, Eric's fantastic. It's just like, yeah, I had no idea this was all possible. It was just, yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Well,
Very surreal.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will talk with y'all soon.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Nice to meet you.